What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. It is time to confront Val Clair, but not before we get all the treasure. Let's go get some treasure first. We gotta get ourselves some lovely Healy bits, because we are definitely hurting at the moment. I don't think I need this many Boomona kits. I think I'm gonna throw that on there. And then, what's up, dragon? You're not gonna breathe fire at me, are you? I wanna pet it. Let's pet a dragon. Hi. How are you? You feeling okay? The machine next to you is on fire. Don't burn yourself, dragon. I want you to stay safe right now. There are definite hazards in your vicinity. Don't mind the flying bullets or anything. We didn't hit you in the eye, did we? Because I feel like that would be the weak point of the dragon. It's kind of like the weak point on a shark. Gotta get it in the eye. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk to Aldrin. Once again, a transplast window separates you from Adrian Val Clair, but this time his steadfast will is gone. He stands motionless, hands at his side, eyes dead, spent. The strength that drove him, the steely resolve that couldn't be shaken by sickness or time or age, is gone. It's theirs now. The world. It's all theirs. Well, we can say he's gonna have to pay for it, or we can come out of there, Val Clair, get away from the control panel. Yeah, let's ask him to come out. I don't really harbor him any real ill will, aside from the fact that he killed a bunch of my friends. It's really Aldrin that I wanted to kill the most. Yes, come out of there, Val Clair. Get away from the control panel. For what? To be toyed with by creatures beyond time? To receive justice? The worms will continue their machinations, consolidate their power, and exact their tribute. And what of humanity? We are no more than treasure to them. Favored baubles to be collected, items to be traded, resources to be spent, or hoarded. He sweeps his eyes across the carnage that was his life's work until they came to rest on the dragon. He grits his teeth. 42 years. 42 years, and we finally had our chance to make a difference, and you destroyed it. I gave everything I had. Everything I loved. I'm sorry, Hermie. Well, looks like he took the quick way out. Ate a 9mm on his way to hell. So let's go ahead and check the room and see what's going on here. So we've got a couple of options. The Dragon Chamber Operations Control. We can lower the Astral Entity Containment Cell into the chamber, which obviously I'm not going to do. We can release Firewing. We can transfer Firewing's control to Apex. And so we've got three options right now. We can either just let Firewing go, which is kind of a weird decision. We can put Firewing back into her own body, and she swears she'll go back to sleep. I don't trust that as far as I can throw it. So really, the only big choice to me right now is whether or not... No, I think that's just us leaving. Like, we can just walk away. Well, I get the feeling that this is not over. I feel as though Lofweir or somebody is going to have something to say about this. Or Harlequin. I mean, I get the... I distinctly know some of the other power players cannot have been in the dark about this for the entire time without kind of throwing their own claw or throwing their own machinations into the mix. So my guess is that we're probably about to meet up with somebody who's a power player, because we just eliminated the main bad guy. And so what happened in the first game when we eliminated the main bad guy? A whole bunch of power players came out that wanted to talk to us. Dunkelzahn, Harlequin, a bunch of people, and actually I think Lofweir was who it was in the last game, so I get the feeling somebody's about to make an appearance. I don't know who, but our real choice right now is whether or not we give Firewing's control to Apex. Apex is going to do the same thing. Kill a bunch of people in order to kill the dragons. Now, the thing that I will say is that the dragons, while being manipulative and hoarding power, is that they are a stabilizing force for the world after the awakening. Them holding power ensures that things never fall too far into chaos. The dragons always have kind of a backup plan. I don't think I'm going to give it to Apex. I was okay with Apex until Apex wanted control of her own personal pet dragon. I think we're just going to walk away. Let's go ahead and burn the whole place down. Warning, this process will lock down all further terminal access. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Yep. As you're about to tap your finger on a key, you feel a hand clasp your shoulder. Hang on. That'd leave both Firewing and the dragon to burn to death. Is that really what you want? Yep, let's do it. Base destruction commencing. System offline. You punch the button, alarm klaxons blare, an ominous rumbling sound fills the air and walls start to shake. We need to leave, now. You have a gift for understatement. Let's get the hell out of here. And so in justifying my decision right there, I feel the need to kind of let you guys know this all needs to go. I'm not going to destroy the dragons, having read a few of the books and the player manuals and things. I think the dragons are necessary. I don't think that leaving the world outside the control of, you know, Lawfoyer, Dunkelzahn, and there's a couple of other dragons that I don't recall the names of that kind of manipulate everything. I don't think that that's a good plan because the world will very quickly fall into chaos. Let's go ahead and transition out. Basically, you're opening up essentially you'd be opening up a world corporate war by getting rid of the dragons, where a bunch of humans are all vying for power now, and I think that just keeping things the way they are is probably the better option. You step out of the van, climbing down into the tunnel leading back to your safe house. Just hours ago, you saved Berlin from fire and ash, from the would-be sacrifice of Dr. Adrian Val Clair. It feels strange now, returning in secret, in silence. The other residents of the Kreutz Bazaar go about their business, unaware of what almost happened here tonight. It's finally over. Your team and your Kias are safe once again. Yeah, I doubt it. I'm not so sure that that's the way it's going to go down. But anyways, and I can't justify giving it to Apex. That's just absolutely a horrific idea. Apex would be wiping out all of the planet's stabilization devices just to get control of the Flux state. And as much as giving her control of Germany in exchange for destroying the rest of the world, that's the thing that's easy to forget. When they put you in a Shadowrun setting, it's easy to forget that, for example, like Seattle is just a small point on the map. San Francisco is just a small point on the map. Berlin is just a small point on the map. What we're essentially doing here is destabilizing the entire planet so that Apex could have control of just Berlin. And that's just, I don't feel good about it. Thinking about just with regards to globalization and whatnot, I've got to look out for the greater good of the entire planet rather than just Berlin. Like, I agree that giving Apex Berlin would probably work out better in the long run for Berlin, but for everybody else, you're killing the dragons that control every single state across the planet. And the massive power vacuum that would ensue seems as though it would be incredibly detrimental to humanity, more so than just allowing the dragons to have control in the first place. Because dragons are pragmatists. I mean, they're a lot like Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad. They're always looking out for the best possible result, regardless of who has to die. So I think we made I think we made the best choice here if we're looking out for kind of the best possible result for everybody, rather than the best possible result for one entity. Coming back into our base, it appears as though there's no conversations to be had. The team is awaiting when you walk in. Their faces are haggard and their shoulders are slumped. Was there a point to all this, Three-Toe? We lost Paul, we lost Monica, the Kreutz Bazaar. I mean, so many people dead. It was just supposed to be a simple job, remember? The milk run. Get into the estate, snatch some data, and get home in time for worm talk on the Trid. God, there are no simple jobs ever. That's part of the gig. Three-Toe is right. A good runner knows that the run she's on is never what it seems. We're deniable assets to our employers, disposable goods. It's on us to succeed in spite of that. And honestly, that's fine with me. A soldier knows how to take orders and get the job done without worrying about the big picture. Leave that kind of thing for the generals. Show me the hill and I'll figure out how to take it. This whole thing's about dragons taking over the world. The thought of them slowly hoarding everything, it's too big to think about. We're street level. We run the shadows and that's it. Worrying about these sorts of issues is beyond our pay grade. That's what they want, and that's what they need. The corps, the dragons, the politicians, everybody. They want us to think that we can't make a difference. They put effort, and a lot of effort, into making us feel small and insignificant. But we're not. We had the power in our hands today. We had a choice, and we made it. Because of that, the world is different. For good or for ill. That's right, for good or for ill. We can't see the future, and I don't think that anyone can, but the world is different now, and we're the ones who changed it. So did we win? Well, we can say that you don't win in this business, you just survive. We can say that I'll tell you what we did. We avenged Monica and Paul. Berlin is still standing, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you don't win in this business, you survive, and that's all a runner can hope for, and all you can expect. You watch the team take it in, Iger nodding her agreement. Gloria staring ahead, lost in thought. Dietrich frowning and eyeing the floor. Blitz is fiddling with his deck and pretending not to understand. Iger breaks the silence. So now what? Monica's gone. Paul's gone. Do we keep running together, or is this the end of the road? I'm out. Gloria's face is placid. Gloria does something you've never seen before. There's a calmness in her voice and a softness to her expression that you've never seen. I've got some business to take care of, a responsibility that I've been ignoring. Three-Toe helped me see that. I might be gone for a long time, Three-Toe. There are a lot of kids who are going to need my help, and I intend to give it to them. But I can promise you this, I will return to the Kreutz Bazaar. And to this team, well, I'll be here. I'm an elf. It's not like I'm going anywhere. Elves are eternal. I suppose I will be here, Glory. There'll always be a spot on the team for you. Glory nods. Understood. See you around. I'll miss you, love. Be safe. Dietrich turns to you. I'm out too. I'm not sure where this is going, but I know I can't stay with a leader who doesn't listen to me. He looks at you hard and you can see the age around his eyes. That's you. I asked you to take me on that Humanist run and it was important. It was family and you didn't. It doesn't matter what your reasons were. I don't want to hear them. I'm out. Yeah, so be it. Yeah, so be it. Iger turns to you. So, Three-Toe, you gonna stick around the Kreuz Bazaar and keep running the shadows with me? You've done a hell of a job and I'd be happy to follow your lead. Well, we've lost everybody, for good or for worse. Yeah, if it means picking up where Monica left off and helping to keep the Kreuz Bazaar safe, I'm in too. Makes sense to me. Iger looks around and realizes she forgot Blitz. What about you, Blitz? Oh, I'm most definitely in, totally. Insane dragons, assholes with enormous machine guns, devil dogs that hump your leg when no one's looking. This is the place for me, no question about it. How could I ever say no? Dante humped your leg? I don't want to talk about it, it's still too fresh. Iger snorts a laugh, then she's back to business. Before I forget, the Turkish coffee guy sent one of his street rats over before you got here. Said he wants to talk to you about something. Alright, thanks. I'm gonna go see what's going on in the Kreuz Bazaar. I'll stop by the coffee shop on my way. Sounds like we have a few more conversations to have. I'm gonna go take a look at the mission computer here. The cool blue tones. Let's check the inbox for new messages. No new unread messages. I always do that. I always back on out of that too far. I think we still had cash. No, we didn't have any cash in the system? I guess not. Well, I guess we'll walk away then. Let's talk to Glory one last time. Three-Toe, you got us through the night alive. Well done. Thanks. From what you said to the others, I take it you're off to liberate the fireplace. That's right. And I have you to thank for that. I don't think I've ever mastered the courage or mustered the courage to go back if you hadn't pushed me. It's the right thing to do. I'm happy to hear that you're going through with it. I have to. If I could stop even one of those kids from following in my footsteps, it'll be worth it. Could you use some help? Maybe I can lend a hand. She shakes her head slowly. No, I think this is something that I want to do on my own. But thank you, Three-Toe, for everything. You're welcome, Glory. Best of luck to you. Thanks. I'll tell you all about it when I get back. And that's a promise. Three-Toe, I'll admit it. You did a hella good job back there. Hell of a good job. You can see my East Bay, my Northern California coming in. I used the word hella. Anyways, Three-Toe, I'll admit it. You did a hell of a good job out there. I couldn't have done it better myself. You'd have done fine. It was my job to lead the team, so I did it. She nods appreciatively. That's the right attitude. Anyways, I'll be looking forward to the next run. Just do me a favor. Make sure that the client is properly vetted, and for the love of God, verify that the job has nothing to do with dragons. Done and done. Good man. She dips her head in salute. Till next time. Every job has something to do with dragons. That you can be. I know this conversation's gonna suck. I've got nothing to say to you, boss. We may have gotten through this thing alive, but that doesn't make up for what you did on the Humanist run. Is there anything I can do to make this right? Gee, let me think. He pauses for effect and spits on the ground at your feet. No, get the fuck away from me. God, you just holding a grudge, man. I realize that I killed a family member, but I feel like we could probably smooth this. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, Chief, that was a hell of a thing, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. I'm glad to hear that you'll be staying on with the team. He puts on a lazy smile and shrugs. Of course I'm staying. The team would fall apart without me. Of course it would. So how's that situation with your ex turn out? Oh, I'd rather not talk about that. No biggie or anything, but I really don't want to get into it. His face reddens slightly and he shakes his head. She was crazy anyways. Anyway, Chief, why don't you go talk to the others? You know, spread the love around. I'm doing just fine here on my own. Sure, and Blitz, you've done a great job all around. Thanks, Chief. You too. Well, let's go ahead and see what our dear friend over at the coffee shop has to say. I get the feeling we're probably going to have somebody waiting for us. Like I said, these machinations, all of these plots and everything, they're too large for someone else not to have noticed them by now. I can almost guarantee you that one of the big players in the world knew exactly what was going on and was just waiting to see what choice we made. There's Algernon one more time waiting for us. Algernon appears to be waiting for you, though his expression is difficult to decipher. Behold the Dragon Slayer. Do not mock the elf, Algernon half-dream, but nor should you praise him either, for good or for ill the cycle of a great worm has ended. Never again shall she walk upon the earth, nor soar over the mountains. This day is full of portent. Portent? What do you mean, portent? He appears to look through you, past you. When a dragon falls, the sound resonates across time and space. The ramifications of the Great Worm's death will be felt. There will be a reckoning. A reckoning? Am I in trouble? Not this you, and not today. Her expression slackens and becomes dreamy. Within 3 cycles, what the world has lost it shall rue. But the ice storm shall come, the codex will be broken, and woe to the dancer. This is the prophecy. Algernon stares at her, lost in thought. Finally he speaks. We must be going, and soon. Is there something I should know, like some last words of, I don't know, like wisdom? Always, no never. Shine, runner of shadows, glow bright, and show that in hidden places power wishes to remain dark. That is Absinthe's wish for you. That is what I was going to say. He bows to you with a flourish. Goodbye, Three-Toe. We will meet again, I think, though not for a long, long time. Power players, like I said, Algernon's another one of them. Worrying things occurring. Ah, how very propitious it is that we will speak again, O Master of Mayhem. I have a proposal for you that could prove most lucrative to us both, Effendim. Most lucrative. Fortune will surely smile upon our blessed partnership if you will only accept. I'm listening, O Master of Hyperbole. With the passing of Herr Amsel, may God bestow his mercy on him, you find yourself without a fixer. I wish to offer my services to you in this regard. You will find that Altug Burak Ghazi is the most connected and business-savvy partner. Yeah, sounds like the sort of match made in heaven, Altug. How do we start? I've already found a potential client, O Blessed One, a most prosperous one with deep pockets. He is eager to meet you. When you are ready, take the U-Bahn to the Brandenburger Tor, and he will find you there. Brandenburger Tor, got it. As soon as I finish up here, I'll go there. Brandenburger Tor. I wonder who's waiting for us. Your PDA buzzes an incoming comm sender unknown. An all too familiar face appears on the screen. She's frowning, a look of incredible sorrow in her eyes. Ah, Ace, you've made a terrible, terrible mistake. Nothing should have the kind of power that you were asking for. I had to do what I did. No, Ace, you didn't. You chose to do what you did, just as you chose to free me. I didn't kill you before, but, well, I'm not afraid of you. The demonic image muscles begin to contort and stretch. Her mouth twists up in a rictus grin. You really, really should. The comm cuts off. Your PDA screen goes black. Yeah, I feel like... So, a few words in passing here. I realized full well that in backstabbing Apex, it would probably end with our own demise. It's a very powerful critter. But the thing we're dealing with here is now we're stuck in between 4 and 5 powers with global reach, all of which could kill us by just flicking a switch. Our lives are pretty much forfeit no matter what we do here, and that's one of those things that when you become a large enough level Shadowrunner, eventually you're going to make a decision that gets you killed. Ain't no such thing as an old Shadowrunner. It's kind of like being an old gangbanger. Just ain't no such thing. It just doesn't happen. Hopefully we've got an ally waiting for us on the other end of this. Loftware? Who's this? The train car is empty except for the man in the immaculately tailored Italian suit. You notice him watching you for several minutes while the train rumbles its way towards Brandenburger Tor. Finally, he speaks. The stranger's words come out slowly in a deep melodious tone that's easy to hear despite the noise of the train. He takes his time accentuating each word, relishing each vowel and consonant, tasting them as if they were a delicacy. Ah, it's Loftware. Hello, I assume the business with Dr. Val Clair is concluded, yes? Do I know you, friend? No, but you are about to. The man inclines his head slightly in introduction. Hans Brockhaus, I represent an interested party. Someone who wishes to know about your encounter with Dr. Val Clair. Oh, the urge to metagame right now is so deep. I'd be like, save us, Loftware, save us. Apex is after me. And Loftware would be probably one of the only people who could protect you from Apex. And how do you know about that? I'm not gonna, let's not metagame right now. Let's go ahead and we're gonna play the role of Three-Toe at the moment and be ignorant. And how do you know about that? Brockhaus continues. My employer also wishes to hear about the Lady Firewing, a fascinating creature, so unlike her brothers and sisters. It's a pity that she's passed from this world. She was a magnificent creature, and the world is diminished by her passing. I'm sure you would agree. Well, we can say that, I don't know, dragons are dangerous, but let's face it, we can say maybe, but let's face it, dragons are scary. Dragons are no different than anyone else. There are those who take and those who get taken. The dragon is just another taker. Or we could say, I don't give a crap about dragons, Hans. I think that would be a terrible choice, knowing what I know. Let's go with kind of the let's do a little bit of Socratic irony right here. Pretend we know less than we do. Let's play the fool for a moment. Maybe, but let's face it, dragons are scary. He inclines his head and the corner of his mouth curls into a bit of a smile. This is true, and as it has always been, as is anything which meta-humanity does not understand. You look at a moth and barely perceive sentience. You glance its way, amused as it flutters towards a bright light in a vain attempt to what? Enter? Draw strength? To burn? It doesn't know. Its epic struggle is barely 1/100th of your lifespan. The sum total of its existence is nothing against the vast scale of your struggles, your hopes, and your dreams, which it could not fathom in 1,000,000 years. That poor moth. He leans forward. You will live and die between the beats of a dragon's heart, mine friend. What hope do you have of understanding them? Hey, I'm an elf. I'm immortal. Sort of. I mean, things can kill me, I suppose. I'm about as immortal as a dragon. They can be killed, I can be killed, but we don't die by virtue of any disease or old age. Well, none. Firewing massacred thousands. A stranger on the train calls her fascinating. Obviously, this is all beyond my comprehension. Say, I understand enough. The Firewing was a great dragon, and she was insane. Or we could say I don't need to. I have enough troubles on my own to care about what a great dragon thinks. Not much, I'm not sure. I'm going to go with the second. I understand enough. The Firewing was a great dragon, and she was insane. He leans back again. Perhaps you would be too if you saw the world through her eyes. My Lady Firewing was a nurturer, a caregiver, rare among her kind. Where her brothers and sisters saw the world as a prize to be won, she saw it as a garden to be tended. Can you imagine? For world upon world, the great dragon Firewing brought wisdom and succor to countless souls, and she was loved for it, exalted, a goddess. I'm a bit confused now. Destroying our world? Maybe... Well, let's continue. When she awoke from her long slumber in 2012 and saw what the world had become, what meta-humanity had done to the garden she attended for great ages, she struck with the rage, regret, frustration, and anguish of a mother whose children had played with fire and burned the house down, killing themselves in the blaze. She unleashed fire and death through her tears. And now she's gone. The sixth world was her last. Interesting. Well, that kind of brings everything to kind of a cacophony of silence. Were that I had known. Well, you seem to know a lot about dragons, Hans. Think your employer wants you telling me all this? I am sure of it. You may consider this conversation an employment interview for a very influential client, one who pays extraordinarily well. Now listen. The man removes his hands from his knees, folds them in his lap. I tell you of all of this so that you have context and perspective before I ask you the next question, Shadowrunner. If Dr. Val Clair's weapon did not require dragon fire, if it was capable of destroying every dragon on Earth without touching a hair on meta-humanity's head, would you have used it? There's my answer right there. I don't think so. Who knows what would fill the power vacuum left behind. I was wondering if that kind of logic would be inserted into the final. I'm incredibly grateful to the developers for making it, because it would have been so unsatisfying if I hadn't had this answer right here, because this was the ultimate conclusion that I had moved towards as a pragmatist. Indeed, there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy, things you do not wish to know. Well, on to the business at hand. My employer wishes to secure your team's services for a series of operations that will likely require the remainder of 2054. I don't know. After Green Winters, I would need to have a better idea of who I'm working for these days. Of course, and you have dealt with several false flag contracts as well recently, yes? It is an awful thing to be manipulated, I am sure. There will be no secrets in between us. Your employer will be the Great Dragon Lofweir. He is sometimes referred to as the Golden Worm. Perhaps you've heard of him. What makes you think I'm going to make a deal with the dragon? His eyes glint. Because you've already been working for him for some time now, Mynheer. I knew it. I absolutely knew that greater powers were not at work here. Whenever you play Shadowrun, you know somebody powerful is always manipulating you, especially once you get to higher levels. Or did you think Green Winters found Val Clair all on his own? He glances up at the U-Bahn map on the wall and smiles. Ah, this is my stop. Coming? Well, what do you know? This looks like my stop too. I'm making this choice just to give you guys context because Apex is a major problem. This is totally self-serving for me right now with regards to the survival and the survival of my friends. Well, what do you know? Looks like my stop too. The train comes to a halt, the doors open, Brockhouse stands, brushes off his Italian suit and exits without another word. As you turn to follow, your eye catches an advertisement for Worm Talk above the subway car door. Brockhouse glances back at you from the platform, the light from the car reflecting in his gaze. You step out of the subway car and follow him up the stairs into the Berlin night and into the shadows. Berlin Newsfax contains just one report of a large-scale explosion in the countryside east of Berlin. An abandoned castle is reportedly consumed in a massive fireball that shakes the countryside and leaves the crater 60 feet deep. A natural gas leak is suspected, and the location is soon cordoned off by unidentified corporate forces. This news is eclipsed with Saterkrupp announces its acquisition of Ariane Space, the last remaining arm of the European space program. The Flux State anarchist rule remains till 2055, when joint corporate forces acting with the support of the German government invade the city. It is widely known that the Great Dragon Lofweir is responsible for orchestrating this action. After weeks of fighting, the surviving anarchists are forced to retreat to the eastern part of the city. A truce is signed in 2060, and Berlin is again divided by a wall. The Great Dragon Dunkelzahn is elected president of the United Canadian and American States. In 2057, he is promptly assassinated as he leaves an inauguration party at the Watergate Hotel while in human form. Popular opinion is that another great dragon is responsible, as only a dragon can kill a dragon, but those in the shadows hint that it is an act of a powerful blood magic. Those in the shadows hint that an act of powerful blood magic is the cause. Memories of Firewing and of the Dragonfall fade further into obscurity, replaced by the media's fascination with the dating habits of the latest SimSense stars. The name of Val Clair has since been lost to the shadows. Interesting. I like how they give you a wrap-up at the end. There's another game that did this recently, where at the end you get a wrap-up of everything that happened. And I greatly remember liking it when they did it as well. And so there it is, guys. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me for this long journey through Shadowrun Dragonfall, which was obviously made by Harebrained Schemes. As always, I absolutely love anything Shadowrun, and while I did have minor foibles with the game, I will say that it is incredibly worth your money. I mean, to the extent that, as far as strategy games go nowadays, you can't do much better than Shadowrun Dragonfall. So, for all the little things that I sort of tripped and stumbled over, I know that a lot of people have pointed out that I had complaints. I don't want that to be confused with the fact that I did enjoy the game tremendously. I would give it probably a 9 out of 10, no problem. I look forward to seeing you all in the next series that we run. Take care out there, everybody, and as always, if there's another Shadowrun series to be run, we will more than likely run it. Take care, guys.